All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into something really cool. An ancient Ayurvedic idea that basically gives us a blueprint for, well, everything in the universe. We're talking about the fundamental qualities of it all, from stuff you can touch to ideas you can't.
So, let's kick things off with a massive question, right? What are the building blocks of reality? What are the basic ingredients that make up everything we experience? Think about it, from a solid rock in your hand to a passing thought, or from that feeling of pure joy to just the sensation of heat. What ties it all together?
Well, believe it or not, the ancient system of Ayurveda has a pretty elegant answer. It's this concept called a guna. And probably the easiest way to think about a guna is, well, it's like a fundamental adjective. It's an essential quality you can use to describe literally any aspect of reality.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to break it down into 5 simple steps. First, we'll get the 10,000-foot view. Then we'll look at how it's all organized. And after that, we'll zoom right in on the qualities that make up the physical world, what our senses pick up on, and even the stuff of consciousness itself. It's going to be fascinating.
So here's the kicker. According to this classical Ayurvedic text, the Charaka Samhita, there isn't some infinite, unknowable number of these qualities. Nope. The idea is that the entire universe, with all its mind-boggling complexity, can be described using just 41 of them. 41 distinct gunas.
Yeah, just 41. Think of it as a complete toolkit for describing reality. It's kind of like having a finite set of Lego bricks. With just those bricks, you can build an infinite variety of things, right? That's the gunas. And what makes this so powerful isn't just the number, but how they're all organized.
Okay, so let's pull up the master map. How do you sort through 41 different qualities? Well, it's actually pretty simple. They all fall into 3 main categories. And this structure is really the key that makes the whole system so brilliant and, honestly, pretty easy to follow.
And here it is. This chart does a fantastic job of laying out the entire system. It shows the complete classification of the gunas. So for the rest of our time here, we're going to use this as our guide. We'll just work our way through it, section by section.
So you can see right away, at the very top level, the gunas are split into 3 big buckets. You've got the Adi-Baltic gunas, that's all about the physical material world. Then there are the Samanya gunas, which are more like general rules for how things work and interact. And finally, the Adhyatmic gunas. That's where we get into the qualities of the mind and consciousness itself.
All right, let's start with that first category, the material world. We're going to look at a really key part of it, the 5 properties that are tied directly to our 5 senses. These are known as the Sattvic gunas.
Now, what's so cool about this is that the system isn't just describing objects, it's classifying our experience of them. So each of our 5 senses, sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell, each one gets its own fundamental guna. It's not just about the thing, it's about how we perceive it.
Okay, let's keep moving through the material qualities. Next up is the biggest group of them all, the Gurvadi gunas. This is a set of 20 qualities that describe the primary physical characteristics of, well, any substance.
And the way it's organized is just really elegant. These 20 properties are grouped into 10 pairs of opposites. It makes it so much easier to understand because you're not just learning a list of 20 things, you're seeing a spectrum between 2 extremes.
So for example, the very first pair, and it's the one that gives this whole group its name, is the contrast between heavy, or guru, and light, which is lago.
Here's another one that's super intuitive. Cold, or shita, versus hot, or ushna. These are 2 of the most basic things we feel every single day, right? And here they are, classified as fundamental qualities of the universe.
Same goes for texture. That's also defined by a guna pair. You've got the spectrum between smooth, called slakshna, and rough, which is kara.
And what's also really interesting is seeing how this system wasn't totally rigid. While the idea of 20 physical qualities is pretty central, different ancient authors actually grouped them a bit differently. You've got one author, Vigbhata, who focused on just 12, while others, like Susruta, listed out all 20. It just goes to show that this was a living, evolving way of thinking.
Okay, so we've talked about the physical world, but now this is where things get really wild. We're about to shift gears from things you can touch and feel to the more abstract gunas, the ones that describe concepts, actions, and the inner workings of consciousness.
These next 10 are called the general gunas, and they are so fascinating because they're like the underlying rules of the game.
You've got principles like combination and separation. You've got the ideas of number and measurement. And it even gets into really abstract stuff like sanskara, which is like a tendency or an imprint left by past actions, and abhyasa, which is just repetition. These aren't physical things you can hold, but they're absolutely fundamental qualities that shape how our reality works.
And that brings us to the final category, the qualities of the self, the Adhyatmic Gunas. And honestly, this is profound stuff. This system takes our deepest, most core conscious experiences and says they aren't just random feelings, they are fundamental qualities of reality itself. Think about it. Things we consider so personal, like desire and its opposite, aversion, or happiness and pain, they are all listed as foundational gunas, right alongside intellect and effort. Wow!
So, let's put it all together. Our grand total of 41 gunas breaks down like this. You've got the 20 physical qualities, the 10 general principles, the 6 qualities of the self, and the 5 properties of our senses. When you put them all together, what you get is this incredibly complete map of reality, covering everything from the purely physical to the purely mental.
At the end of the day, what this system gives us is a really powerful way to observe and understand the world around us. I mean, this quote really nails it. The gunas aren't just some ancient list to memorize. They're a lens, a way of seeing that reminds us that everything we come across is just a combination of these fundamental qualities.
And that leaves us with the final thought. If everything is made of these qualities, think about it. The coldness of your drink, the smoothness of the phone or screen you're watching this on, the sounds around you, even the mental effort you're using to focus right now, those are all gunas. So, the question is, which ones are defining your world in this very moment? Because when you start to understand these building blocks, you're not just learning about an old system, you're getting a whole new language to talk about reality.